Okay, so I want to present this evening a topic to try improving the situation here and the work in general. For that, I will speak about free of charge. Already, it's very interesting in English, you don't have a word to express this. You must have an expression, free of charge. So I'm going to take the word gratis, that is used in German, in French, in Italian, and now it's going to be used in English as well. And I will say that even if the word should be used a bit differently, but we're going to keep gratis as something easy to remember. And the only possibility to be free of charge, to be gratis, is that all of us, me included, we're going to put a box on the table and we're going to put all our money into this box, me included, everybody. We close the box and we don't use the box anymore. So when we have to pay the rent, the electricity, we manage all together without money. That is the only possibility to have something free of charge for real, gratis for real. Therefore, as we live in a society that is a little bit turned to business, gratis doesn't exist. When you have something free of charge, it's because somebody else is paying for you. That's all.
Yeah.
The first element to understand is that free of charge, gratis, doesn't exist in a society where you have to pay the electricity, the computer, the editing of a film, the heating system. So if you don't pay, somebody else is paying for you. Can we already agree on this?
Yeah.
I don't agree.
Pardon?
I don't agree.
Tell me.
So what I think you're talking about is essentially nothing is for free because you cannot create something from nothing.
Yes.
So if everything is created of on a fundamental level of just energy and matter, I can't just create this glass. I have to put time, energy to make this glass exist. And if I'm going to give someone something, I lose. That doesn't necessarily mean that, I put myself completely, out of energy or out of work. But if I'm going to give Stefan this book, I no longer have this book. Therefore, I lose. And what you're talking about is just that, but represented in money.
No.
It's not necessarily the society.
No, you're making a chaos, I would say, in your mind, between the fact of losing something, that anything that is produced in this world is not free of charge. It means that you can give this book, you can keep it, you can give it, but somebody paid this book. It was not invented from nothing.
Yeah.
So it means that if you say, for instance, Stefan, I give you this book because you paid it, so you give it to you, you don't have it anymore, but you paid for Stefan.
Yeah.
So it is not free of charge. For him, yes, but it is not free of charge. Anything produced, somebody is paying it, because in this system, if we were living in a different world, that would be different. But now it is like this. So when you give something, that you keep it or that you give it, when you give something, if he has it for free, you pay for him.
That I agree with, but what I'm trying to understand is how could a different world exist where no one pays for it and you can still give it away for free?
And if we were in a different system, I don't count my time, you don't count your time, and if we all want to give, we are extremely rich, because everybody is giving me everything, but everybody is giving to Stefan, and everybody is giving to Eden, and so we receive too much. What? No, thank you. I don't need 5 books, But the point is that to have that possible, it is that the people who build create the books, they do that for the pleasure, and they give freely to everybody. Yes, but would be in a different system. That would be the system to give gifts for the pleasure of giving.
So it wouldn't even be like trading, it would just
Absolutely.
be giving. Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it is in a brotherhood,
Yeah.
as we try to do here. Inside the house, we must have this philosophy. If I translate a text for Nico from French into English, if I massage somebody in osteopathy, I'm not doing that to say, therefore this evening, I don't do the dishing.
Yeah.
I just do that for the pleasure to make people happy. When we reach the level of making people happy, we can speak about free of charge, gratis. But
So
in this system, it's not existing.
if everyone gives without expecting in return, then we all win because we're doing it to each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we produce so much, we receive so much, it's too much for me.
Yeah.
At one point, if you have different people who can do a massage here, at one point, the guy will say, but leave me in peace, I can only three, leave me in. Yes. So, with or without money, money is changing nothing. It is the wish to make people happy or the wish to receive something. As we're in a world, even if I enjoy to give, everything that I give here, that you don't pay, I pay for it. That's all. I pay, or some other people, they pay for it.
Yeah.
You understand? So the point is to develop an idea about this. When you take spirituality, I shouldn't ask money to teach something because it is spiritual. But if you have pain in the shoulder, I am osteopath and I can look after you and you pay. If, as a psychologist, I look after you in therapy, then you pay. But if I teach you something of spirituality, you don't pay. And this system is absolutely wrong. We should wonder why, since about 2,000 years, there is not anymore a Jesus Christ, a Buddha, or whoever else. Is it that the society is so stupid, or is it that we evolved into a system that forbids anyone? I mean, if you had a Buddha today, a Jesus Christ today, would he have a channel on the internet? You know? How long will he spend on the planet before ending in a psychiatric hospital? You understand? Because we are living in a system where we cannot ignore the system. And the system is that you have to produce, you have to... So why is it that something spiritual is for free, but something physical, it's normal to pay? So let's change the values. What you really need, because you're starving, because you're hurt, because you're alone, it is a sin, it is a crime to ask money to somebody who needs totally. Whatever it is, a lift, whatever, you know, a help about this. But anything that you take for a certain comfort, evolution, pleasure, then it is normal in this society that you pay. Can we agree in this idea as a different classification of what should be gratis, free of charge, and what shouldn't be?
So you're not talking about the idea of getting rid of paying for things. You're just saying that some things should be free of charge or gratis.
Now, in fact, they will not be free of charge. They will be free of charge for the one who is receiving. But if I give food to somebody, it's because I paid the food. So it's still not free of charge. But we can have the intention of free of charge because at one point we have a level of emergency where our morality should say, okay, there I sacrifice myself for this, I pay for that because this one needs it. And from this level of emergency, we should all be able to do that, which would be the first step into, at one point, we love so much each other that this level of emergency is going down and down and down and down and down. And one day everything is for free, even if we all produce, but we have totally forgotten the money. But now, as it is not the case, that we cannot give everything to everybody for free, we should reach a certain level of emergency. We say, okay, there, I sacrifice myself, I pay. Or he pays, or whoever. But if it's not that level, then we must be free and not guilty to ask for money. What I teach here in the films, in the lessons that we have every day, I paid for all of this.
Yeah.
I went to see masters where I had to pay most of the time. There's a Shaolin temple where I didn't pay. But the rest I paid, and a lot of money, psychology included, spirituality included. Everywhere I went, I had to pay. Now I give for free. So don't worry, it's not a trap to set. So therefore, from this evening, 50 euros each evening.
Oh, so you're thinking like, okay, I think it's coming now.
No, the point is that we can see a level of emergency, of commitment. And all of us here, we have to see that we should be working, all of us, like one unity to produce money. Money that is coming here so that we stop, or I stop paying. And that all of us, you do a little work outside, or we do something with the internet, or with that, and we help people, their clients, so they pay, because they have something on the internet that is interesting, whatever the protocol, so they pay, like I'm producing something like a cone of vision, clack, 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 for the blind to be able to see. It's a lot of work, and also the products that we buy, that we create, all of this, it's a lot of work. At one point, we give that to the blind with teaching, with attention. We give also the product. They pay. It's normal.
So
That's all. Yes?
if I can say something, so it's basically a system that you want to create where we all profit from each other, but we all also give to each other. Not like in the society where people only profit from each other. Because lately I heard from one person who was telling me, I hope that you don't, I don't know how to say that in English. I hope that you don't expose, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like only to take. I don't know if there's a special word.
So it's not Deutsch, gut?
Ausnutzen.
Use somebody. Yeah, I hope you're
Exploit?
not.
Yeah.
Exploit,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I was looking for it.
He told me, I hope that you don't exploit the society or the system. And I told him, well, I hope that the system doesn't exploit you. Because it's exactly what is happening in the system. And with this,
And this is where we go to something that is crazy, is that if you ask some money for a lesson of spirituality, philosophy, that is improving your life, we exploit people. No, we don't. So their way is to say, they have decided it's normal to pay a fortune for mobile, but the teaching of spirituality, we don't pay.
yeah.
Otherwise, you're a thief. What?
The idea you're talking about is like it's against the current system we operate in. And to define that, we talk about capitalism as the system that we operate in. The fundamental idea of that is if I have, going back to the book, because it's on the table, if I have this book, it's not just any book. I've got my band here to keep it closed. I've put like a nice bit of leather on it. I've got like a little pen attachment here. So I've made this book better than someone else who was making just some book that was just paper, it had no protection. So I've put my time and effort into this, and therefore I should profit off that. So once I've created this thing, I push it over to you and I say, what I've put into this is worth more, and that's why I should be winning. Not because it's pleasurable for me to gift you something that's better. So I don't do it for the pleasure of giving, I do it for selfish pleasure. That is the idea of the system. And the reason this is designed this way, once again, not my own personal views, just the understanding of where we are now, is people are selfish in nature. And in order to motivate people to be successful, we have to reward them. We have to reward them, not through them having pleasure by giving to other people, but by their own selfish gain. So when we talk about the people who are, let's say, on top of the system, so people who are most taking advantage of capitalism. This would be, we have like automotive companies, right? So like the VW Group, fantastic example. One of the biggest car manufacturer owners in the entire planet. You know, they own half of the vehicles that, you know, get driven in Europe. They are doing that better than anyone else, and that's why they profit. That's why they gain. But the understanding is that people are driven not by what you say. So people are driven not by the pleasure of giving to other people. People are driven by the pleasure of their own material and financial gain.
Yes.
And in order to change what you're trying to say, that root problem, not the concept of money, not the concept of anything else, the motivation for success has to change.
Yeah. Yes, that is the evolution of people. Now, if I take in a sense the story of Benji with his book, Benji could say, look, I paid the book £2, okay? And after that, I did some stuff, 50 cents. So it's £2.50 that I give you. It's not true. Because maybe he spent 3 hours
It's also time.
to find this, to do that, and it's 3 hours that we have not available to get money somewhere else.
Yeah.
You understand? So that is the system that is existing that we cannot deny. Here, you developed a defect. The defect is that here, it's a quality that became a defect. We don't deal with money. Anyone who needs something, we don't ask for money. We do that for the pleasure of giving, which is the opposite of capitalism. It's very good. It's the evolution of the world. But at the same time, you believe that it's happening the same outside, and not at all. So, for instance, at the present time, you work on a tree for the cat tree. Okay, fantastic. But that should be an activity. I explained that to my am today. So it should be an activity that is the last activity when I have nothing to do. The main activity now, people, is to earn money. So, not between each other, but as we have people who are there, and anyone who comes here will be treated the same way. Because the more we are, the more powerful we are to produce things, not to fuck people, to help people, but where they have honestly something to pay. So we're an entity that is producing outside, one way or another, physically, with the internet, books, whatever, to make money. Until now, you have been working inside the house to get ready. But now we are ready. It's not perfect, we can always improve, but we are ready. So now we have to go to the second level, and the second level is that the entity that we are all together must produce money, because EG has no money anymore, or not a lot left. So we're going to go to a disaster, to bankrupt. I don't want the people here to pay, but I want you to be able to select something different between what we do here and to be able to welcome more people who will enjoy something for free of charge, for real. It is that the more we are powerful, active, to produce some stuff to help the world so that we produce money. Ikigai, the triangle of success, which is what you like to do, what the world needs to do, and what is producing money. So here it is true that we don't need money between each other. But you went into a little protocol of children. It means that when we do a film, most of you, it's not your business. When we do that, it's not your business. All of us, we should be thinking into we are one power, and this power tries to help the outside, to attract people who can see that what we live, what we do is cool, but we work together, and we don't have the same relation between each other here because of a commitment, honest commitment. And the people who are outside, they are watching on the internet and they say, oh, that is interesting. So a philosophy, a part that we give it's normal, I get it for free. Yes. So we cannot oblige people to say, okay, you have to pay if you watch this film. But at the same time, we have us to develop the way to say, okay, if we give that or that produce this knowledge, whatever, we ask for money and we work all together as one entity who wants money, so that when we're able to do it, other people want to join. They say, I can go because I could help to produce better film, to produce better technology, better electrical system, better that and that and that. You understand? So you have been mixing two things, inside and outside. Sorry.
Like this, with what you explain, it's also bringing, if you have new people coming to the place, or you have other people that are already here, that are part already, that are a little while here. And as I said, new people that are coming, more creativity probably.
Exactly.
New ideas also, because maybe we are stuck on some ideas or because if I can see it as an example, when I work something outside, I build something, I always need like a second opinion or even a third opinion of somebody. So I have Benji here or Zach here, I ask them, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And it's the same way around. We do that with each other because we're quite into DIY. But it can be done with anything that it's going on in the house, videos, things to produce, then conversations, topics and stuff like that, to have more ideas and to be one entity that is growing higher because we feed each other on the ideas, I would say.
We try to invade the planet because our system inside can grow and grow and grow, which is a system of the pleasure of giving. But as the rest of the planet is not working like this, we must be adapted. So the people, they come here. And because now it's the case more or less, so I pay more or less 1,000 euros a month here. It's a bit of money. It's not a fortune, but it is. How many are we here?
Right now,
Yes.
there are 8,
8?
including yourself.
Yeah, including me, yes. So
And Marion, who's not filming.
8, let's say 10. Okay, well 9, but let's say 10 to makes 100 euros a month. So it's not to tell you now you are going to put your hand into your pocket and to put the money on the table, but it means that if you work in the idea, we produce money as an entity, as a group, we completely fight the system because we need much less. So we work together, which is much easier. We pay much less, which is very easy, very comfortable. And with that, we can welcome and help a lot of people. But if you project the money of EG is endless, unlimited, and that is going to be like this for eternity, at one point I would say, sorry guys, we close. And if we have more people coming, say, how shall I pay that? Well, if anyone who is coming knows that the money is not existing in the house, but outside the house it's existing, it's a reality. We take that as even a game. Okay, I can do that. I can help like this. I can show this. We can do a method of training with Aidan and Stefan and Mariam. They present some different stuff. And I don't know what. I invent. We present a method of English, or it wouldn't be the best business. But it's just to give you some ideas of having the pleasure to work together, to have a pleasure of being more a brotherhood here, so that outside, with this intelligence, with this pleasure of being together, we produce also, because it's not our system that must be hiding and terrified of the world. We must invade the world, We're going to do like Elon Musk, buy everything. But in a way of producing something that is really working between us. I never heard somebody who says, oh, I want a massage, but you will give me 2 hours of lesson of English. Or no, if somebody wants something, it's given, that's all. If we can make somebody happy, we do it. The money is not existing here, but the money is existing outside.
That's a difficult line to draw there.
Yep,
because,
absolutely.
Because the things that happen in here still require the money that exists outside.
Yeah.
The food that I eat, the wood that I build, that I build anything with, the plexiglass, this all costs money, and with the example of that, of construction, right? So we now have, I would say, Stefan and Zach, both two people who are the most competent when it comes to construction. So they are the best at building things, right? But Zach, for example, got the best at building things to earn money for selfish monetary gain.
Yes.
Before he ever came here, the reason he is well trained, and correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, the reason that he's well trained, he knows what he's doing, he knows the right tools for the job, is because he understood that if I fuck this up, it's my money on the line.
Yes.
But what you just brought up was, there's 10 people here, I pay 1,000 euros a month, therefore each of you are somewhat responsible for that 100 euros.
Something
Correct
like
me.
this, at
So-
least for the rent.
But we're not, because
Exactly.
we're disconnected from that. So
Yes.
I have no money on the table. I am disconnected, therefore, from my investment in what is going on here. If my money was on the table, I'd be waking up and I'd be like, fuck, okay, it's my money, it's my thing, because that's still the thinking of capitalism. That's
Yes.
still
Yes,
capitalism.
absolutely.
So not so much a point, but just something to push forward. It's very, very difficult to separate these two things without actually putting money on the table,
Mhm.
because all of us, perhaps with the exception of yourself, Luigi, have been manufactured by this capitalist system. And whenever I'm putting like right now, for example, I am putting time into a place where I don't get money back. I could be, back in England working at that shitty restaurant, and I could be earning a lot more money. Well, I'll be earning money full stop. Now, it's my calculation that the knowledge, the understanding, and exactly how you put it, the brotherhood that I experience here, that is worth more than the 2,000 or so pounds that I would earn a month. But I'm still using the metric of money. So how do we break away from this measuring of everything, when we still have to get wood, we still have to get food from the supermarket, So how do we exist in a place like this without that?
We have, first of all, about capitalism, all of you, you're unhappy to have a boss. And all of you, if you don't have a boss, you don't work.
Yeah.
Which is a paradox, it's conditioning. Now, at one point, when the system that we have is working and producing, if I go to the speech of Benji, he's going to count 2,000 pounds for a salary. But if he has here a very cool life because of everything that we give, that we exchange, with 2,000 pounds, he cannot pay this quality of life.
Yeah.
So he's going to go somewhere, he's accumulating money, he sees a number that is going up on his bank account, but he has a life that is completely rubbish. And after that, it's okay, now it's time for me to relax. And when he's relaxing, he's going to pay a lot of money. So the point is that by doing the work here, that is producing money as a group, he has a quality of life that is increasing, because more people means more pleasure, more abilities, more discussions, more fun, more food, more everything, because everyone is bringing something. And at one point, he can even count in a selfish way, says, 2,000 euros, if I want to have the quality of life that I have here, considering that I work 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day, maximum, outside, where shall I get a salary of 2,000 euros, being able to pay enough to have the same pleasure than here? So the system that we have here must be able to destroy the system of outside, even for selfish reason.
So therefore, in order to achieve what you're putting forward, we have to make life here the absolute best that we can.
Yes.
So when someone like me, who comes from a place where I automatically organize everything by money and how much it costs, I walk in that door, I look around, and I go, I could not afford this, even if I spent money on nothing else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that, therefore, should be the focus, is making this place the absolute best we can.
Yes.
So that when someone is waking up and they go, okay, fuck, I have 4 hours to give back. I have 4 or 5 hours to give back to this place what I am getting.
Mm. And I spoke about pleasure from the pleasure of giving. Pleasure doesn't mean masochism.
But
So
that's the pleasure.
it's not a punishment to be there. It is a pleasure because everything that we can give, the quality of life that we can develop for the holistic trainer like Eden that will be able after that to teach, to have a good salary, to you are having a new step in a system that is able to give you a lot. So we cannot go to people and say what you do is bad. Capitalism is bad. Let's suffer together to do something better. No, it's not working like this. It is just we can play a game where all of us we win something better, even for selfishness, but we build our selfishness on the pleasure of giving and being efficient and being happy to be together. So you become generous because you're selfish, because of your selfishness, not because you have to pay a karma because you're a victim. And for that, it is the way to be important to understand that I don't know. We work outside sometimes to help a guy with horses with his stables, but we got back a lot of manure. And you're going to say the manure is not very expensive. It depends. Because all this food for the garden is making a garden super powerful that will produce a lot of money. So there, it's a business. We go from time to time, we help, he's happy, he's not paying somebody, but he came with a tractor, with even 2 tractors for a lot of manure, a lot of food for next year, having a lot of food. Everything must be developed like this. Yeah. So when I work on the cone of vision with Zach and with Nico, I hear people working on the cat tree, and I no. The cone of vision we work, and money, and also people who are blind, they will be extremely happy to discover this fantastic system. But for that, I need to present something that is impeccable. I'm not going to sell something that is rubbish to make money. I want something impeccable because you commit yourself to the pleasure of producing something perfect for these people. I have a perfect teaching of echolocation, perfect tool, all of this together. Yes, we sell it, but we sell something of high quality. We develop the pride, the pleasure of existing differently. And our way to exist differently is a way to make this world free. Because if we don't make it free, it's a little bit dying. Because of capitalism. So it's not a punishment. We have to unmask capitalism to show it's not working, people. Let's do something different. So for the present time, it's working pretty well because I believe that people are quite happy together. Nevertheless, I want more production. Sonia, you have been working on the inter-Slavic language. It has been for a long time. I saw nothing coming. At one point, it is okay. We have that. It's a tool to communicate better with the surrounding. At one point, you have all to stop being too comfortable. Comfortable because it's brotherhood. It's super cool, super nice. But at the same time, all of you have to see outside there's a pressure, a reality. It's a fight. It's a war. And we have to win this war with pleasure. You understand?
The difficult part of that is telling someone that there's a war and actually fighting a war are very different things. We see conflict and war all the time on our handheld computers, right? But that doesn't mean that we experience the war. We don't experience that fight. So in this context, you are the person who's on the front lines. You are the person who's fighting that war. And we are the citizens at home who feel nice and safe because EG is fighting for us. So how do you take people, myself being one of them, who are disconnected from this consequence and say, come on, guys, there is a war here. And on top of that, there are parts of this place, for example, that don't work so efficiently because we deny the standard model of how an organization should work. For example, you are sitting across from two people who worked in a professional kitchen.
Mhm.
These two people, therefore, would be the best people to cook every single evening. But that's not what happens. Every person takes their turn and takes their turn to cook. If we're trying to be making the most money, we have to start looking here. Where are we losing money? Before we start making, where are we losing money? Where are we wasting money when we could be spending this somewhere else? What if we could get 1,000 euros lower? And in that case, just in the context of cooking, why isn't it okay? Benji and Stefan, maybe with the help of different people every evening, they're probably going to be the most efficient and cook the best quality food and know the best and have the least injuries, etc. every single evening. They should be the ones to do it.
If we were doing that, we would have lost the war because now capitalism is inside the house. So it means that we have the pleasure, we help some people to learn cooking better, but this work would be, let's imagine we want to sell some food outside, cooked of course, then we say, Stefan, Benji, you're in charge.
Okay.
And that now we work from outside. The thing that you have to understand, spirituality, most of the people, spirituality means meditation. I meditate. No, you're sleeping. Meditation means expansion. To feel before, to develop the anticipation, the awareness. So one day you become vegetarian because it's not anymore a beefsteak in your plate, it's an animal that is dying, even if he's not dying in front of you, but you feel his death further away. Expansion. So expansion is that you arrive here, you're quite shy, being a bit hidden in your bedroom, you don't dare to talk, you don't dare to ask. After that, you expand a bit in the house and you have only pleasure. It's absolutely normal. You're a beginner, absolutely normal. But you should go on in your expansion and say, oh, outside here. Ah, the other is going to fetch his rent. Oh, the electricity. Oh, this and that. Expansion. And naturally, you can win a war by pleasure and expansion. The expansion is the awareness, and the pleasure is the efficiency to break a system that is killing the planet now. And at one point, we asked money to people who are still in the system, but by giving them good teaching, good examples, one day they want to come here, and the more we are here, the more we can produce more. And I would say, okay, but e.g., let's go further. Let's imagine that at one point we invaded the complete Europe continent. So it's not working anymore. Yes, of course, because once we are large enough, he is able to build a TV, I'm able to build a computer, he is able to build that, and we do it only for the pleasure. So we don't need to buy anymore outside. But it's not true now because we are too small. Let's imagine that one day we are 20 million, 50 million. We're a country. And any country that is in bankrupt now could be totally protected if each country was protecting the production of the country. Each country is in bankrupt because we developed something of capitalism beyond the borders that after that we close, that we blackmail and everything. But enough people together, any country could be immensely rich if everybody was honest. You know? So the system is obliged to be linked to the outside where we sell and we get money, blah, blah. But at one point, when we get, let's imagine 2,000 people, I'm sure, I don't know, I didn't calculate, but maybe 2,000 people, we don't need to deal anymore outside. Because we produce so much in a closed system that we need nearly nothing. So the more we are, the more we need to sell because we can produce internally on many things. And anyone who is coming is working less. You know, it is calculated that with the technology that we have today, with half an hour of work a day, everybody is extremely happy on the planet. So basically, you work more or less 8 hours a day for assholes that are making a lot of money on your back. So it's an analysis of the system of money. So therefore, once we are enough, I don't know if it's 5,000, 20,000, 1 million, I never calculated that. But at one point, if no one is fucking anyone, that everybody cares about everyone is producing for the pleasure, the system makes that we will need less and less production and more pleasure until, why not? The planet is like this, why not? Let's be very optimistic. And then it's called the Aquarius time, where everybody is in peace, where we care about everyone, where there's not a selfishness of things. The tribes in the past, they were living in a way that a kid was the kid of the tribe, not the kid of two parents. And the kid had the right to say, I don't like this house anymore, I go to live to this house. So the parents, they were obliged to have a house that was really cool and not, and as long as you're under my roof, you will do as I tell you. Because all of us, we heard that. For the tribes, if they're not happy, the kid, he can be 5 years, he goes to live somewhere else. Because it's better there. But he stays in the tribe. He's the kid of the tribe. Everybody looks after him. He still sees his father and his mother every day. But he goes to a better place where it's more funny. So it's a motivation to produce better. You know? It's the system that can destroy capitalism. Yes.
Zach, you teased me earlier about the top-down fire, because I was speaking about top-down systems. When we speak about the way that the system is poisoned, it's also top-down, right? So the people at the top, their poison trickles down to the bottom. Therefore, the positive side, the opposite of poison, the light, if you like, should also come from the top. The top in this place is yourself, e.g. Before today, I had absolutely no idea that cone vision was something for outside. Honestly, I thought that was just for you. So, being the ballsy person I am, I would say it's actually the leadership in this place that has not clearly defined a vision for the people who come in here and is not clear in communicating what everyone wants to achieve together. When I came here, it took me a week to find out why there was always toilet paper in the sawdust. Do you know why? That's because nobody told me. That as soon as someone tells me, of course, so that you can find it. Fuck, of course. But I would never think that because nobody told me. I would also never think that money is our absolute priority, because today I was told, no, we start with a cat tree. And I go, that doesn't sound like something that makes money. That sounds like something which is for the cats. Which I go, fine, it's not my place to say because it's not my money on the table. But then surely what is lacking is a clear definition of what we are here to do. Why are we here? What are we trying to achieve? Because up until this conversation, personally, I don't even feel like that was on the table. I would love to know. I would love to be involved with this stuff. I would love to walk into this room and see on that wall behind me what we want to achieve. How close are we to doing that? What do I have to do to achieve? And that is how organizations that operate in the system today, that is how they organize themselves. They go from the top down. You said yourself in a lesson of file, if the student doesn't understand, it's not the fault of the student. It is the fault of the teacher. So I go here, I feel like the teacher wasn't clearly communicating what was happening. Because if the responsibility is on me, because I should expand my mind and I should expand my thoughts and I should do this process automatically, I go, fair enough, if that's what you want. That's fair enough. But on the other hand, from what I understand about how things work, you are the leader here. You are setting the pace, you are setting the tone. The ideas that are on the table, they're yours. It's not a dictatorship. You don't go, my name is EG, this is how we're going to do stuff. Absolutely not. Because you fully believe the ideas you're putting on the table, they are the best. You say, here it is, here's what I think, and any of you idiots can challenge it because I know I can shoot you down. Am I wrong?
Well, to go back to some different elements, for my defense, it is that this situation turned like this about 1 week, 10 days ago. And it means that before I was investing money to have a house that is ready. So you understood perfectly well the situation. Since about 1 week, 10 days, I tried to speak to the people who know me better to say, we have to go into this now. But they don't hear because they are used to have a house where Daddy G is looking after everything, and we just prepare the house. And I said, no, this time is over. That's why I decided to present that today to everybody, that everybody understands. So I started to give this message to some people about 10 days ago, but I see that it's not going down.
Yeah.
They don't swallow it. So now I said, now, okay, until now it was fine. We prepared pretty well, the garden, everything, the winter garden, okay, it's fine. But now it is time to go into a new step of evolution, which is as a unity, it is time now to produce something. Because if it goes on like this, no. So before I said we work for the house, we prepare some stuff like the cone of vision and some other little stuff that we prepare slowly, gently, with many the house. But now, when I started to speak about how it's time to produce, I heard today that effectively people started to work on the cat's tree, and I said, no, it's not at all what I said. So when I heard that, I said, it means that people didn't hear. That's why I decided this evening to speak about it. I said, the cat's tree, it is something that we do when we have nothing to do.
Yeah.
Okay, why not? Instead of having people just lazy, having nothing to do, it's to protect the life of the cats, to make them happier. So we focus on that. And I said that, I will not enter into details, but I will need to use it for the cats in about 2 months. So no emergency.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's why when I heard, because I react on things, I spoke to people, you don't hear. Some of you don't hear because some others you didn't know. So when I heard the category, I said, no, now I'm going to speak to everybody because clearly you didn't swallow the information and didn't pass the information. Yes. And after that, it is true that I believe in democracy. That's why I always explain capitalism is the opposite of democracy. Even if they want to make you believe that, capitalism is that I'm going to impose something to make a maximum of money, and you better follow. Otherwise, I lose money. I am the boss, and we are back to this. So on that, I don't want to apply this. I want us to have an intelligence. We analyze some stuff that we can produce, that we can do. We work together. And if you find a better system, fantastic. I'm open to anything as long as it is working. And to build something, and to create something for the garden, and to create something for the heating system, for the cones of vision, so that I'm open to anyone. I'm not into power, but we're into results. Results means result in the house. Okay, it's starting to be good. Now it's time to take the how do you call it? The rolls outside.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not a roll. The tool itself. Yeah,
Oh, the oar. Like to row a boat. Right?
Yeah, the what?
That's called an oar.
Oh, exactly. So it's time to put the oars outside and to start rowing. You understand? Now we build the ship. The ship is good, solid. Now it's time to take a direction. And I spoke to Mariam these last days, and I said, we are a ship that is quite solid, but we have no direction at all. Yeah. It is time now to move and to take a direction. Yeah. Otherwise, the storms, the waves will destroy us totally. Because it's a new situation, it's a new step. And it is time now for the people to go into production. But the production, I would say, we keep in idea that the first point is pleasure.
Yeah.
The second point is production. The third point is we improve the house. Why not? We still have some little stuff to do. But it is in third position. First, pleasure. Second, production. And if you have a lot of pleasure, anything that is positive for us, we can enjoy it and turn it into a way that we cannot give that to the clients. I use clients outside, but we can give them a taste of it, a part of it. Yes? But it is not, we sacrifice everything for the production. No, because in that case, you go back to capitalism. It's easy to criticize the capitalism. And finally, what is the difference between a society and a macro society? The size. The people who are criticizing the governments because they say, oh, they are bad. When they have a community, they are fucking fascist as well. And you have to do that and you follow and blah, blah. So it is cool to create something that is not a micro society, but a para society, like paramedicine, something that is different. We learn different things, we think differently, we produce different things that are solutions. Einstein said, you will not find a solution by using the same level of intelligence that you use to produce the problem. So it is time to think differently, as we do now, to produce different things, produce enough to say, okay, to the people outside, maybe we go to work in a house, maybe it is the internet, maybe we produce a book, I don't know. It's not an emergency because I'm not in bankrupt, so we still have some months in front, but nevertheless, at one point, slowly but intelligently and in a comfortable way, it is time to go into where unity that must use everything out, like the cells, you know. I explained yesterday, the boats, the people started to discover the other continents when they invented the cells. With the cell, the wind. The wind in Latin is vento, vent, vent, depending on the languages. It's the origin of the word adventure, because you start to have an adventure to discover other continents, other countries, because of the cells. So now it is time for us, the ship is strong, it's time to put the cells outside. Oh, it goes with 2 cells. Okay. I didn't do it on purpose, but nevertheless. You understand?
Yeah.
All right. Some people like Nadia, Sonia, Nico, if you could follow a little bit, Stefan, to hear a little bit.
Well, maybe I can start.
Yes.
So, from what I see, this society or this, I don't know if I call it new society or this brotherhood that you want to create is
It's already created.
Yeah, it's already created, but it is an advantage for everybody. If we go in the same direction, all of us.
If you suffer here, go away.
Yeah, because if
The society can give you something better.
And if in society, if we keep the ideas of the society, for example, that money or profit is beyond everything, then it will not work. So therefore, we have to all agree on, okay, we go into this direction, and to find something, because we have here 10 people maybe, so we have 10 minds to work together.
Yes.
So it's even a very, very good thing to be creative, because one mind is already creative, but if we have 10 people, we have a lot of different ideas and we can find a lot of solutions for this.
Yes, and I give you a simple example. You have Eden here.
Yeah.
He has a super body.
Yeah.
Okay? Because of his work before us. We can present the way to work to show the muscles, to develop the muscles. With a guy like Stefan and Eden, we can do a much better film than Stefan and Zach. So he can be better in this position. He has a better position, production of money for him, for the group, for anyone who comes with new solution, with new abilities. Absolutely.
Yeah. And also, there was something I wanted to say earlier about what Benji said, but in the end you answered it already, Because if we always go into, okay, this person is the best one in cooking, this person is the best one in building, if we don't learn from each other and start to include different people to learn the same thing or to become even better in different things, then of course we will go to a disaster, because if only one person is always doing the same thing, this one person could be injured, could be, I don't know, bored at some point and leaving because he's always doing the same things, he's doing a lot of work. So in that point, I just wanted to answer to Benji as well, because in that point, of course, it wouldn't work. But if we start to say, like, everything in this brotherhood is worth to be experienced, then we go to, okay, we learn each other. Okay, we learn from each other. We create money, like, together, we, I don't know, create a salary together, let's say. And we give pleasure to each other. We don't stay all hidden in our bedrooms, but we go to each other. Okay, hey, I want to give you a massage. Hey, can we do this together? I
But
show
wait.
you how to pay.
What is important to understand is that evolution, expansion goes into meditation, into reading books, into talking, but also cooking when you cannot cook, into that and that and that. And we can die. There's a bomb arriving there, poof, the house is exploding, there are 4 people surviving. These 4 people, they must be much better than when they came.
Yeah.
So it's a place that is also a school and not only a production, but a way to grow up for everyone. Yes. So it is not only super production because you are good in that or whatever.
Yeah.
If we organize a party and that we need good cooks, okay, we have to. But for other reasons, no, we evolve into everybody learning from everybody.
I think that is one of the good aspects also here, that people that are coming are not just, you follow now, you do as you were told. I mean, it's also part of the thing that people that are coming here, that are new here, of course, somehow you need to learn the structure, what people are doing, how is the general life here. But also the good aspect here, when people are coming, is that they can bring their things. I know Iji now since a long time already, and he never, in the time I know him, he never refused to hear any idea from people. He never refused to hear, okay, what do you think of that? What do you think of that? When people were coming with different ideas or with different knowledge. So in that case, he was always open, he was always listening, he was always available to see and to check. And at the end, if it works, if it's good, what the people are saying, what the people are explaining, why shouldn't we take the ideas of the people? Because it would be stupid if someone is coming from outside, like I give the example, like with Aiden, we're having a super body, to ask somebody else that doesn't have that super body but lives already 5 years here in the house. No, the guy obviously knows what he's talking about, what he's doing.
Yes.
So it's normal to ask him to go to give a feedback. And then it's an exchange that we have. And I think that this is quite important, and this is something that you really don't get a lot in the outside world, I would say, because...
And talking about improvement, to be clear about, for instance, Mariam or Nadia or Joan, there are people who are getting from the work outside a little salary, like 1,000 was very difficult for them, working really like slaves a lot of time. Now they get quite a lot of money for a very short time. So it means that Mariam, Nadia, they also started to pay, Stefan also, pay a little bit in the house, because of the abilities that they developed here. Yes? So it means that producing can be producing together as a team, or producing because you learn, one of you, or all of you, and in this aspect or this aspect, at one point you can start to do that or that. And Nadia, she works 6-7 days a month, and she has quite a lot of money. Maria, more or less the same, because they develop into dancing, art, cinema, abilities, and they get a lot of money because they develop the know-how, the freedom, the ability to do fantastic stuff. And it can be the same for all of you. And when we do that, of course, you can be an asshole and you can take all of this and disappear because now you have a good salary. You can, it's your problem. But for us as a brotherhood, we work to teach everyone to be super able so that either you work here or from time to time you go to work outside, but outside is boring because you meet crazy people, because they are stressed, they are terrified with the COVID and so on. So you go to work a bit outside and you manage to have a very good job so that whether 1 week outside, you come back with the salary of a complete month and a very good month. Plenty enough. The rest of the time you're here, you learn more and you focus on the house, on the pleasure, on production of the house, or yourself going to produce outside, bringing back a bit of money from time to time that you can share honestly. So much that at one point, we're not going to tell you that we'll give you salaries, but when the house is very rich, honestly, and that we can do at one point, we say, okay, at the end of the month, we have too much money because we're not business. So, okay, so all of us, 200 euros, and I can go enjoy. And that is doable. So we're not talking about a salary like in the system where we declare you, but we have too much money. Then we just we share at one point. We say, okay, we have too much money. Let's say all of you that or that. Or again, we buy let's say a new car. And okay, the car will not be mine. The car is there at your disposal. So all of you, instead of having a rubbish car, you have a new car. It's very comfortable to drive this. We buy a new car. We organize for the insurance, but it's covered by this and this and this. And fine. We have the problem where to put the steering wheel between the European and the British. You put it in the middle to make everybody happy. But there are things. At one point, I had a house, and we bought a sailing boat. The sailing boat was sold 10,000 euros. But as a group, we were quite rich. So I said to the guy, I saw that he was only in the sheet and the boat was in very bad state. So I said, okay, 5,000 euros here, now on the table cash, and we leave with the boat immediately. And the guy is, okay. And so we got the boat for 5,000 instead of 10,000. Then we had a lot of operations to do that we did because we had 3 skippers in the group. So they know how to build, how to... Cool, we did that. After that, we had a boat. But a sailing boat, once you have a sailing boat, use it what? 2-3 days a month. And the rest of the time, you pay the harbor. You know? For us, we're just organizing. 4 people were taking the sailing boat. After that, 3. After that, 2. After that, 5. And the sailing boat was quite often traveling. We were 20 people. We had a sailing boat for nearly nothing. 5,000 divided by 20 for a sailing boat. Wow. And after that, we work. So all of us, we spent 10, 20 hours. And the boat was super luxe, super comfortable. That's an example. And understand that capitalism or para-capitalism, if I want to use this word, is not to be poor, is to be differently rich.
Yeah.
To be differently happy and comfortable. Because comfort is what you can buy, what the quality of what you have, but also the low quantity of time that you spend. To work 10 hours a day, to be very rich, is not to be rich, is to be a slave. You have a guy, I've forgotten his name, if he spends his money to the rhythm that he spends his money now, he will need something like 8,000 years to spend everything. Nevertheless, every day he goes back working to have more money. He's a slave.
Yeah.
He has a huge bank account, but he's a slave.
I think you might be talking about Warren Buffett, that really rich guy in America.
I don't remember the name.
He's used as a benchmark of like the richest person who's is Warren Buffett. And that's true. It's like when you look at the people who are the most successful in this society, even the people that you're jealous of, that guy who drives down the street in his brand new, AMG Mercedes, right? Do you think he has fucking free time?
Exactly.
He works 75 hours a week.
Totally.
Because if you don't work 75 hours a week, you don't get that money. There is no way to do that by yourself.
So they develop a pathology, working is pleasure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a point of view.
That's referred to as hustle culture,
Mhm.
right? Where he's like, oh, I gotta hustle, gotta make the money. If it's not about making money, then it doesn't make sense. You know, that's what people now is big time pushed in our culture.
Well, our making money is a side effect of pleasure. If you are cool, you're happy in your life, you have love, you have care, you have sex, you have sport, you're so cool that as a side effect, when you do something, it's working.
It's kind of like the philosophy of pleasure is the investment. Because
Absolutely.
if you invest, if you invest pleasure in people, they will produce more.
Yes.
So if I give, you know, like it's kind of revert. It used to be the system we come from is money equals pleasure, and what you're trying to do is just flip that on its head.
Exactly.
With the understanding that pleasure equals money.
Yes. And I explained to Nico with the film that we saw yesterday with parkours, somersaults, and all of these that are very difficult. I said, if you want to learn, Nico, I don't teach you because you are 40 years old. It's too late for you. So in that case, I would be wasting my time and wasting your time. So I work in investment. If somebody wants to work that, if you are young enough, fit enough, yeah, of course. If you believe positively, practice correctly, you can do it. Most of you can do it because you are young. Nico is 40. No, it's already too late. You don't learn somersault when you're 40 years old. It's not mean. It's just so when some people are coming, they stay simple volunteers because they come to do the strict minimum. They need a boss, and after 2 weeks they're leaving. Some others they can evolve into not being volunteers anymore, but being enjoyer, something like this. Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody has something to add on that?
It was interesting. Benji and I were cooking last night, and I asked him a question, and we started a conversation about what is like the point of this. And I guess I was starting to question, like, okay, like I find this place really cool. I get on with everyone. Like it's really fun. The stuff we do together is super cool. I'm learning a lot. I'm growing. But what is the point of this? What are we trying to achieve? What are we getting at? And I guess I was a bit like, I'm not quite sure. And it's interesting now we're having this conversation. It's like that clarity now of like, okay, well, this is what we're aiming for. And I think like, I love the idea of the focus should be on the pleasure. And then the result of that is that we can produce, we can enjoy, and we can make some money. Instead of the focus, which is what society focuses on, is to make money, to then be able to have that pleasure. It's actually the other way round. And when you have pleasure, you enjoy, you use the skills that you have, the knowledge, we come together and work as a team. We can produce so much more and actually enjoy that process. And I find it like, it makes me excited because now I'm like, okay, I have a focus, I have an idea. This is where we want to go. Like you said, with putting the sails up, it's an adventure. Instead of just being like, I think before I felt, okay, we have this house, we've built it to survive, what's happening in society. And for me, how I saw it, it was like, that was it. And it's like, okay, well, if we survive, cool, but then what next? Yeah, exactly. What's we survive, okay, well, what's the point of surviving?
And it's exactly what I explained to Maya. I said, you are a fantastic boat, but you have no direction. Going nowhere.
Exactly.
And a boat that is going nowhere will drown, will sink.
But that boat, going back to the boat analogy, like, I'm of the opinion that he shouldn't be allowed to have that thought. And I'm not talking like communist China, don't think for yourself. What I mean is, the fact that he has that thought means he's sitting in his rowing position, right? He's holding onto the oar, and he has no one going, row, row, row. And that's what this conversation is. This conversation is you standing at the helm, going, everyone take your positions. Now is the time to move.
Yes. It's really the philosophy of capitalism. We want to be free, which is impossible with capitalism. but we need a boss, because if we don't have a boss, we'll do nothing.
Yeah.
So at one point, by ourselves, I am alone, I am free to finish the cone, for instance, because the cone, when you have complete control of echolocation, one day you don't need the cone anymore. But for the people who want to learn echolocation, the cone is a fantastic help. But one day they will be so comfortable that the cone, they will use it from time to time outside, but less and less. So it's something to give this new vision to blinds, and that is clear. So therefore, I have all these tools around me, so it's fantastic to help blinds. Nevertheless, the cone has been sleeping, and I said, okay, can I sit? Yes, in 3 days. But I said, no, it's not ready. And look at the presentation. No, it's really the boss who said that. We want to present it to other people. We cannot present it like this. Yes, shit. So at one point, with the pleasure must come the expansion of consciousness. You are adult. It's your place. You have all the rights of this place and all the duties of this place. Understand? And then you're proud to be there. And if somebody wants to come, you say, yes, of course, come. You can help on that. We can do that together. It's going to be fantastic. We have to develop the way of generosity that is pushing us to have a place that is more efficient. Efficiency means, what do we do with new people? What do we do with new people? We'll do the catch even bigger? No, at one point, what do we do with new people now? And at the same time, you, Zach, at the same time, you have to see that you would love that we have new people. Maybe one day you meet a nice girl, blah, blah, blah. It's a cool place to have that here. It could happen. But at the same time, you do nothing to develop to have more people. The pathology of the boss. The staff, the employee is always complaining about the boss, but he needs the boss to do the work so that they can complain about the boss. We have to break completely a system that is totally different. That's why you must get free from all this shit of this society that we see is just dying because it's not working. We have to think, learn differently, think differently, produce different things in a different way. You break the protocol of this society, and the society is not at all ready to face people who are breaking the system. They are completely lost. People helping each other, working together, sharing the same car, sharing the same sailing boat. What? And we had, with the sailing boat, we were in Malta, and we had a second house in Sicily. In Sicily, no work, so we had a fantastic house that we paid 500 euros a month. We had a house in Malta, 800 euros a month. So we were paying 1,300 euros a month for 2 houses that were both of them fantastic, with about 20 people with the sailing boats.
Not bad.
And we had a school to teach English, and we had a windsurfing school with a lot of clients. And we're turning, okay, you do that, you do that, okay, me, I go there. And we're in Sicily, we're not working, we're doing 1 week just to enjoy, to be a bit lazy, to practice martial arts, and nothing else. And in Malta, it was a place of work, and we were turning with sailing boats. And the sailing boat means nearly no expenses at all. You have a bit of petrol with the engine to leave the harbor and to arrive, but the rest of the time, it's the wind, adventure, the wind, vent, adventure. Let's go.
Like on the point of efficiency, so like certain people are more like experienced with like building things, so like thinking about like balancing the pleasure with the like producing as much as possible. Like for example, I might have more experience with like Polish in this case and less with building, so I'll need much more time like with the building. So it's like you really need to find a balance between like, okay, like because I love learning to build new things, but I also need to keep in mind like of the things I can bring, like of the production.
So when we are outside, you are going to be into business because you learn that about Polish, because you have this. But when we are inside, all of us were students.
Mm.
When we are outside, all of us were professionals
Mm.
and super efficient.
Mm.
Yes? Somebody else wants to add something before we close?
I would just say to round off that the philosophy put forward in this conversation by yourself, I find it very compelling and also easy to understand. But that direction that I think we all want to row towards, in the analogy of the boat, we need someone to maintain that direction, and we need mechanisms to maintain that direction. And this philosophy is one of those things. I'm imagining a little sign above the door that says, now you're at school, and a little sign on the way out that says, and now you're professionals.
Yes.
Because if you want to play this double game, you really have to switch that on and off. And that is not something that people are used to doing. I think it's definitely something that could be learned and acquired. But I think going forward, to avoid the miscommunication of what happened in the last week to 10 days, as you said before, these parameters for how we exist in this space and how we position ourselves in the society, that needs to be well understood by everyone. So I look at Aidan, and I look at Mariam, and I look at Nadia, and I look at you, and I go, we are all swimming in the same direction.
Absolutely.
And there can be no doubt about that.
Yes. Yes. And it can be a great pleasure, a great adventure, so that we can welcome more and more people, so that we can succeed more and more, so that you are more and more proud about everything that you do. So that at one point, we help a lot of animals here. At one point, we reach the limit of the animals, unless we are more people, because not the space, we have so much space. But at one point, 6 dogs, 6 cats, I don't know how many chickens.
40.
At one point, we must have enough hands and timing for the food, for the cabins, to look after the animals, to organize like this, like that. More people means more animals to help. More success in everything. And who knows, maybe one day we can organize, as we are 2 psychologists in the house, some therapies with dogs, 2 psychologists, and the dogs, they become also some entities helping to produce more money because we help more people. I don't know, we don't do that for that, but anything can go on. So all of you feel concerned about producing a film. Once you understand the main idea of what we do, you could say, I want to do a film, maybe alone, maybe you ask for help because you are not so used, but you can say, I could produce a film about this, about that, because we'll produce three films a week, and it's also a lot of work. And the people who are watching, they will appreciate to see some films that are keeping the same direction, but that are completely different. I don't know, I'm not you. All of you, trust your intelligence, your creativity, your pleasure, everything. Okay?
Yeah, we chef.
1 time, 2 times, sold. Thank you.
Thank you.